everybody, I'm back, and this week I'm making a video not for those of us who have fibromyalgia, but for those of us who don't have fibromyalgia. And this is just a little advice on how to be supportive and how to be there for someone that you know who has fibromyalgia. I personally, as you know, have fibromyalgia, so I know what it's like and how frustrating it is seeing someone who wants to be there for me but not understanding how to do it and how to be supportive. And I'm just here to tell you from a personal perspective, you know, what a person with fibromyalgia really needs, and a way to create that positive dynamic and to keep the positive energy flowing between your relationships. Okay, so the first thing I would say when you are if you have a child or a spouse or a friend or a relative who has fibromyalgia, the first thing to remember is never show your frustration. I know there are a lot of reasons to get frustrated. You can be frustrated because you don't know what to do to help the person. You're frustrated because you can't get into the doctors on time. You could be frustrated if you're a friend because you know, maybe your friend always bails at the last minute because they're tired or they're in pain. So the most important thing is to never show your frustration, because if you show that you're frustrated for whatever reason, the person with fibromyalgia is going to become really, really guilty, and they're just going to start beating themselves up. And when that happens, it just turns into this vicious cycle where they get upset because you're upset, and then you get upset because they're upset, and then you just sort of end up being frustrated with each other, and it just creates this negative energy where there really doesn't need to be any, because you know, really it's just two people trying to bridge the gap of not being able to understand each other, because someone who doesn't have fibromyalgia doesn't really understand what it's like living with fibromyalgia. And I think the most important thing to remember if you feel frustrated is that at the end of the day, you can go out and you can hang out with your friends, and you can go and take a break and take a breather and come back and be refreshed and, you know, start it all over again. But someone with fibromyalgia, they never get a break, ever. Never, never, never. And, you know, they have to wake up every day with the disease, and so they don't really get a break from their own life like you might be able to. So, you know, their frustration is all the time. And you know, things don't just get better in a day. It takes, you know, a longer period of time to see improvement. So a lot of things that you need, that's just, you know, the basic thing to remember is to just never show your frustration. And if you feel like you're getting frustrated, you know, vent to someone else. Do not vent to that person. If you have something that you want to talk about, like, oh, I don't understand, like, why can't you come over, why can't you hang out, you know, just talk about it, because then you might be able to understand each other. But don't get mad and don't get upset. And the second thing I would say, which is like the easiest way to keep a connection with someone who has fibromyalgia, is to focus on the little things that you can do for each other, because a lot of times when we have fibromyalgia, we end up feeling really, really alone. And I know that if I didn't have my dog, I would feel completely alone, because even though I can get out and my life is so much better than it was 3 years ago, I spend like 95% of my time by myself. So just doing simple things like sending a text to see if they're feeling okay, seeing how their day is, you know, coming over to just say, hey, what are you doing this weekend or this afternoon? Can I, you know, do you want to just, I can come over, we can watch a movie, or we can play a video game, we can just talk and hang out, or like order some food, you know, like that really means a lot to us, because it's really important for us to know that people still care. And a lot of times we feel like everybody just kind of forgets about us because they don't think we can do anything, and that's not true. I mean, we can all do our own little things and everything's different, but just because we can't stay out till 2 in the morning or like go run a mile or work out or hold full-time jobs doesn't mean that we're completely dead. I mean, we still want to see people, and I think we have a far greater appreciation of that human contact and those relationships because of the fact that we really don't take them for granted because we don't get to have them as much. And so it's really important to just focus on those small things you can do for each other, because what may not matter to you really matters to us a lot. It really does. I think another way to give support to someone who has fibromyalgia is to sort of, address the issue or attack the issue together. I know for maybe your own personal edification, if you want to look up information about the disease on your own, or if you want to go to the doctor appointment with your friend, if you want to go with your family, I think that's like really great, and it really brings you together, and it really like bridges that gap between misunderstanding each other. And when you have someone with you when you're going through this, it definitely makes you feel less alone, and just feeling like someone's trying to understand you makes you feel a lot better than if someone just doesn't care at all. So I would definitely say doing your research, opening a discussion about the disease. If you just sit down and say, hey, like, I want to talk about, like, what's it like for you? Really, like, what's it like living every day? Or, is there anything little I can do for you to make you feel better? Do you want me to text you, send you an email? Do you want to just do like an annual movie night? What do you want to do? Because it may seem like a cramp in your style, but it means everything to that person. And just think of like a couple hours a day that you could spend with someone. It really, it might be the only interaction they get all week. So I think the biggest things that to remember are, don't get frustrated. Well, you can get frustrated, and you will, but don't show your frustration. Remember the small things you can do for each other. Do your research, and keep the dialogue flowing, because it's really important to always try and to never stop trying. Because once you stop trying, then the person gets really hurt, and that's when they really feel abandoned. If you have any questions or comments or any more advice that you think I missed, just leave me a comment. I hope you all have a good week.